Greetings lovers of anime and welcome to my first ever video dedicated to anime. Not the first one I talk about anime, but the first one I dedicate to anime. And today we'll be reviewing the 2016 spring anime season. I watched a lot of anime this season, not all of them good, not all of them bad. A few anime that really surprised me and were really good. We're going to talk about Dragon Ball Super as well, but it is not really going to count as a seasonal anime because it isn't. But I'm going to do this day by day, and we're going to start on Monday. And on Monday I had two anime coming out, and those were first and foremost Assassination Cerberus. It's about this prince who's lost his kingdom, his country, lost his parents, all his family, and he has this connection with this dragon, and this dragon was the one who destroyed this country. And he has this big bodyguard, he has this little dragon that accompanies him, and they're going to find a few characters along their journey. By the way, possible spoilers for any of the anime I talk about. And now this prince, he has this connection with the dragon that you find out, and he's blood related to the dragon. At least that's what I understood from the anime. Like berserk type mode, just like the Wolverine has his berserk type mode, but he awakens his dragon mode. That is when the power of the dragon inside him comes out and he goes completely bonkers. And I like many aspects of this anime. It's a big epic fantasy adventure anime, but it gets a few of those characters that they find along the journey underdeveloped. The girls, I don't remember half of their names. Then you have these random enemies that come out of nowhere. Then you have a girl that is always surveilling them throughout their journey, and when she reveals herself to them, it's really not that important. Really, the only two characters I care about is Hiro and Giro, his bodyguard, I guess, and that's just it. The adventure itself, it's good, it's watchable. It's not something memorable that you will remember to talk about with your friends forever, but it's an epic fantasy, and if you're into fantasy genre anime, you're going to like this series enough. And I'm going to give Assassination Cerberus a C+. Then on Monday we have Sailor Moon Crystal, the second season. Pretty much what you know from the first season of Sailor Moon, and the series is really fast-paced. It goes into the action right away. You meet the new characters: Sailor Saturn, Sailor Uranus, Sailor Neptune, and Sailor Pluto. You meet all these characters once more. They at first seem like enemies, then they are anti-heroes, then they finally join the team. You know, it's what you know for Sailor Moon. Nothing is really going to impress you. I like the relationship they created with Chibiusa and Sailor Saturn, but apart from that, the enemy is as generic as always. But it's what you know for Sailor Moon, and I feel like if you didn't watch Sailor Moon in yesteryear, like I did, you're really going to feel like the characters are underdeveloped. So I'm telling you right now, this is from a perspective of someone who knows the characters, so I understand if you, having not watched the old Sailor Moon, are not going to feel the same way I did. But I like this series, I like the characters, I know them well enough, and what little development they give us about these characters, I feel it's enough. But that's because I know the characters. If you don't know the characters, it's not going to be enough. For me, Sailor Moon Crystal, the second season, it's a martini. It's a good time anytime, but if you don't know Sailor Moon from yesteryear, it's not going to be that. It's going to be probably a Clark Gable. On Wednesday, other two anime came out, and those were Twin Star Exorcists. Last year in the summer I read the first volume of the manga. I really enjoyed it. It's about these two kids who come from an heritage of exorcists, and they live in this world where demons always come out and they have to fight them, and then they become promised to each other. Why? Because there's this prophecy about the Twin Star Exorcists. Two kids who are going to rise to power, the most powerful exorcists ever, but they can only be that powerful together. And so they get entwined in an arranged marriage and have to live together. Comedy ensues, the action is great, the development of the characters between these two characters, the main characters, are awesome. I love the relationship between them two. I love Benio, she is an awesome protagonist. I love that she dominates both as a fighter, as an exorcist, and in marriage, because that is what happens in real life. I like the side characters as well. There are really these quirky characters around them that get underdeveloped maybe, but the ones in the Exorcist order, and then there are these 12 guardians who always look awesome, just like side anime characters usually do in these high fantasy genre animes. And I really like Twin Star Exorcists. It did not disappoint. It's a series that you easily can watch. It's not heavy on plot, it's not heavy on characters, but it develops them well enough. Comedy, action, adventure. It has a few touches of horror, I guess, but it's not heavy to watch, and I'm going to give Twin Star Exorcist an amazeballs rating. Then you have Bungo Stray Dogs. I love this series. I absolutely love this series. Again, fantasy type anime, but it's happening in this world where you have mafia and you have the police, but they have these superpowers. There are people with superpowers, and this agency, the police agency, specializes in capturing people with powers and stopping them. And you have this main character who can turn into a tiger by night, and he doesn't know that at first, but the relationship he develops with the guys who get him for the agency is great. The villains are great. Yeah, I'm talking about villains. Memorable villains from an anime this season. That is great to say, finally. Bungo Stray Dogs is a really well done anime, both in character, in plot, and in animation, and I am going to give it an amazeballs rating as well. Then come Tuesday, where we have Naruto. Again, not a seasonal anime, but I started rewatching again once it entered the story and was not filler anymore. Well, I watched the Itachi filler, but that's because I love Itachi so much, but I'm not going to count it. I like the battle with Kaguya. This past week, Naruto didn't come out. I'm really interested in seeing this finally ending. I read the manga, I know how it ends, but I want to see it in anime form. Please get here as fast as you can, the ending to Naruto Shippuden. And Naruto Shippuden is still a martini. It's a good time, anytime. We are one episode away from the ending of the second season and the ending to the series in general of Assassination Classroom. Koro-sensei sacrificing himself for his students, finally defeating his former student and Shido in the process. He's now going to prevent the earth from exploding. I've really enjoyed the series from the first episode. Koro-sensei is such a great character with so many layers to him, and the students are so great. There's just too many to name, but Kayano, Karma, Nagisa, they are great characters. And I love the series. I love the message that it brings. I love the plot of the series. I love the comedy. The action is great as well. Very well animated. Assassination Classroom, the second season, and the series in general gets a kneel before me. Let's talk about the biggest surprise of the season, because at first it seemed like an Attack on Titan ripoff, but now we have Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. What a great show! From animation to color palettes to story to the visuals, I love everything visual about this anime, and the story is so great. It really feels that steampunk hole you feel as you watch so many anime and so many animated shows. There's really nothing else focusing on this steampunk visual type of thing, and I really love this anime for that. The action is great, the horror elements in this are very well put, very well inserted. If you are not watching this anime, you totally should. Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress is a great anime, a very welcome surprise in this past season, and I am going to give it an amazeballs rating. Come Friday and we have the second season of Wushio Totora. It really suffered from pacing. It really felt like half the episodes they were talking, the other half they were just fighting and had no dialogue, no development. But the bond between Ushio and Tora really grew in this season. I really still love these characters. Kind of a bum ending, honestly, because it felt like of no consequence. But I still really like the series. I can see a sequel series coming, and I would repeat watching this anime if I had time. So if you haven't watched Tsushiota Taito, please give it a watch. Great action. You have all these yokai coming in. You have this big battle between dead people and alive people and demons. I really enjoyed the story of the series, but the last few episodes really suffered from pacing, but still, Tsushiota Taito is a martini. It's a good time, anytime. Come Saturday morning and we had this comedy anime, which is Kyoukai no Rini, the second season. I enjoyed it. It's really nothing that you need to watch, especially if you want to watch every episode. You don't need to. There's really nothing that connects every episode to the other. It really just feels like these random adventures about this exorcist that needs to bring people to the land of the dead because they are trapped spirits on Earth because they have unfinished business. The animation is subpar. I can honestly laugh a lot with this series, but it will not bring you anything new. If you aren't watching this series, I can't recommend it because it really isn't anything special. But if you like the fantasy inserted with comedy, and that's mainly what this is, give it a watch. You might like it. I am going to give Kyoukai no Rini a C+. Once again on Saturday morning we have Concrete Revolutio, the second season, and this was disappointing as hell. This was again random adventures, but after a first season that was so great, and it really had a thick plot about superhumans and humans, how could they live together, how would society react to this. It was a really great commentary on that, something that Powers, a live action show, hasn't really done a good job at. I was really hyped for the second season. Like Kyoukai no Rini, it was these random adventures, episode by episode, random battles, lots of characters that you don't care about or never heard of suddenly come into the series, and it's just a big mess, and nothing really makes sense after a while. It was really disappointing. The animation is still unique. I still like the style of animation, how they draw the lines around the characters and make them feel different, but still the series as a story, it's not cohesive. It seems random. It seems like they made it up as they went along. I don't know if there's a manga for this anime. I never searched for it, but I'm reviewing the anime itself, and Concrete Revolutio, the last song, is really disappointing, and after watching this series I won't miss it at all, and it gets a Clark Gable. Still going on Saturday we had Kiss Niver, and this is about 7 people who don't really get along with anyone, 7 lone wolves estranged from society as a whole, and suddenly they become connected by this sign that appears in several parts of their bodies. And then, when each of them feel pain, the others feel it too, and they share the pain. For instance, if you are to throw yourself off a building, you probably won't die because you have 6 other people to share the pain with you. And this series is great. Great commentary on connections, on human bonds, on friendship, on love, and then you have this villainess who's really great and doesn't really get revealed until half the episodes of the anime are through. It has a great plot, it has great characters. This guy is totally Kamina because this series comes from Studio Trigger as well, and you should totally give this a watch. It's fun, it's sci-fi, it has these quirky characters, it has one guy for comedy, one guy that is really weird and seems like a psychopath. You should totally watch the series, and I will give it a kneel before me. Come Saturday night, and I really enjoyed Endride. It's about this guy who goes underground and he finds this whole new world. There are gems involved, and you have this kingdom, and you have these people who are half-breeds with beasts, and it's a fun adventure. It really suffers from pacing because you have things that are happening that you don't really care about, and you don't understand why they are occupying your time as you're watching an episode, and this is only a 12-episode anime, so I didn't really get what the importance of the plot was for those things. But the 2 main characters are these really headstrong types that really make you feel like this is a fantasy buddy cop series, and it's really enjoyable apart from the pacing and a few story points that don't really make sense. It's an enjoyable anime. It's fantasy. If you like fantasy, you're going to like it. Just like Twin Star Exorcists, easy to watch, and I will give Endride a C+. Let's go to Sunday, the best day of the week for anime. Let's go into probably my favorite anime this season, Boku no Hero Academia. Reading the manga as it started, as soon as the anime was announced I was hyped. And then in the first episode, my expectations were blown to the sky. I love this series, just like I loved the manga before. The characters are great, the animation is spectacular. It's this great world where everyone has superpowers, and heroes are public celebrities, and villains come out every day of the week. And then the news on TV and reporters go out there to see the battles and film it, and it goes on TV, and then they go on and interview the superheroes, and they try to interview the supervillains as they go into jail. And you have this main character, Izuku Midoriya, and he doesn't have superpowers, but then he meets his idol, All Might, who's like the most inspirational character ever. And you have this guy giving his power to Izuku because he's getting sick, and you find out that he inherited the power himself, and now he wants to give it to someone else. And it's a great story, it's a great show. I totally recommend it to you. Go watch the series, and it absolutely gets a kneel before me. Let's talk about Dragon Ball Super. After an underwhelming tournament between Universe 6 and Universe 7, we finally got an arc that I'm really interested in, although the first episode was just like filling up the sausages. They filled the promotional material of the new Trunks arc with Goku Black. And then, throughout the first episode of this arc, they play it like we don't know who the villain is. He's always in the shadows or amidst the fire and smoke and you can clearly see his face. You know it's Goku Black. Why don't they just show it to you? It's really cheating on the fans, but I'm still hyped for the series because he tells Trunks that he's going to die and he calls him Saiyan, which means he's not a Saiyan. I'm really into this arc right now. I hope it does not disappoint because I enjoyed the first and the second arc of Dragon Ball Super, except that we had movies about the same story before, and it was better done in the anime. So we didn't need those movies that were at least subpar, one of them with a Deus Ex Machina ending. But the best part of Dragon Ball Super is that it feels like Dragon Ball. Subpar animation, whatever. It happens once in 30 episodes, I guess. But the series itself, the characters work, it feels like Dragon Ball once again. And it's great to have been a kid while Dragon Ball was around and being 23 years old and still enjoying the heck out of it. And I'm going to give Dragon Ball Super a martini. It's a good time anytime. Then on Sunday night came ReZero, starting life in a new world. It's a really fun fantasy anime about this guy who goes into this world where there are fairies and all these mythological creatures and magic and powers. He's a human. But then what happens in this series, you see him going day by day, trying to adapt to this new life, meeting these brand new characters, starting to live in a castle, doing house chores, and then it becomes a completely fucked up psychological nightmare. This series will get to you. I really was surprised by this. This was a great concept. This was a great surprise. Every episode surprises you. The series isn't over. I can't wait for the finale. Most of the series aren't done. Tsushiota Taito has ended. I don't know what else has ended, but I know something else ended this week. There's about one episode left to each of these series, and I couldn't wait for the finale because right after the end, we will start the summer season, and tomorrow will be a very special video about that. But I really enjoyed the series. ReZero, starting life in another world, is a great concept. It will twist your mind. It will give you nightmares about the horror imagery you see in this series. I really enjoyed it. Total recommendation, and I'm going to give it an amazeballs rating. So out of enjoyment for me, the top 5 series in this season of anime are number 5, ReZero, starting life in another world. Great series. Number 4 is Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. Great surprise. Glad it isn't an Attack on Titan ripoff. It's even better, in fact. Number 3 is a tie between Bongyo Stray Dogs and Twin Star Exorcist. Really enjoy both of these shows. Number 2 is Assassination Classroom. Did not disappoint from the beginning of the first season to the last week's episode. The penultimate episode in the series as a whole. Really enjoyed it. Go see it if you haven't yet. And of course, at number 1, it's Boku no Hero Academia because everything works in this show. It's great. It's amazing. It's awesome! But what did you guys see in this past season of anime? What were your biggest surprises? What were your biggest letdowns? Let me know all of that in the comments below. Don't let me know what you will watch in the summer season because there will be a video about that tomorrow in my summer 2016 anime preview, and then after that a summer 2016 anime review. But tomorrow I'll bring you that video. I want to know what you guys enjoyed in this past season. Include Naruto Shippuden and Dragon Ball Super and One Piece if you like it, and Fairy Tail, I don't know if that's still going on. Include Bleach if you want to. Include anything you watched in this past season, even if it is an old anime that is not on right now. I still want to know that. Let me know all of that in the comments below. Subscribe for more anime videos if you enjoyed this one, and I'll bring you everything you want about anime. And as you go down there to subscribe, there's also links to my Facebook and my Instagram in the description below, and you guys can stalk me on the internet and join our beautiful geeky community, and we can be geeky united. And if you don't know, there will be a link to my previous video, which is my Independence Day Resurgence review right here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my first ever video dedicated to anime, the 2016 spring season of anime. Really enjoyable season, not the best one ever, not anything to blow your mind except for Boku no Hero Academia. And I hope you return tomorrow for my summer 2016 anime season preview. And also this coming week I will have movie reviews for The Shallows, Free State of Jones, Love and Friendship, and Central Intelligence. And I'll see you guys in all of those and any other special video coming to the Geekness Overlord channel. Cheers!